Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2023-24 season. My name is Dan and today we're going to have a look at a team which I think is perfect for this game week onwards. I want to build a team today that I want to be moving my own team towards, building towards a team like this. And those of you guys on a wild card this week might find this video very useful as well to try and get an idea of the best team and structure that you want to be going for right now. So guys, if you do enjoy this one, please do drop a like, please do subscribe if you're new around here. Let's have a look at this team. Okay, so we haven't actually spent all of the money for this team. We've actually got a little bit left in the bank when building this team, but I think that's kind of to be expected. A lot of the best performing players at the moment are on the cheap side a little bit, and it might be a good idea to leave a little bit of money in the bank for later on. We've got to have players like Liverpool players and, you know, maybe Kieran Trippier, some other Newcastle guys might be really useful to get later down the line. So I feel like it could be an okay idea to have a little bit of money in the bank at the moment. I don't think there's any problem with that, but we are going to start off in goal, and we're going to go for Ederson, who is a little bit expensive at 5.5, but like I say, we don't have to spend too much money in the rest of our team to make a good squad. And Ederson, so far so good. We've seen that Man City are keeping those clean sheets. They've got their Newcastle game out the way now. That difficult fixture is behind them, and Ederson is already back-to-back clean sheets. And I feel like you're not going to get that guaranteed game time with the 6-pointers in any of the Man City defenders because there's going to be rotation. We've already seen it. We're going to have even more to come, which is going to be a little bit dangerous. But Ederson gives you that safety, that reliability. And as you've probably seen, even the defenders, they're not really scoring many more points than Ederson really. I think over the course of a maybe 8, 9, 10 game week period, you will start to see that Ederson is outscoring those other defenders from Man City just because of that rotation. So really nice fixtures on the horizon. Sheffield United, Fulham, West Ham and Nottingham Forest. You could easily see City getting 4 out of 4 clean sheets in this run. So I'm very, very happy to say that right now, if I could choose any goalkeeper to have in my FPL team, it would probably be Ederson. Let's go into defence. We have got Ben Chilwell, a disappointing result against West Ham in game week 2, but I still have a lot of faith in this player. He did show a lot of promise even in that second game to get up the pitch, get involved, be in the box, be on the end of crosses, put in his own crosses as well, and he will be a little bit dangerous. And hey, with Enzo missing his penalties, you never know who's going to be the next penalty taker. Could it be Chilwell? Could it be Jackson? I don't know. I don't want to speculate on that, but I'll be interested to get your thoughts. Who is going to be the penalty taker next for Chelsea? Be really good to know. But yeah, we've got Luton and Nottingham Forest as the next 2 games. And I feel like these are really, really positive ones for any player. Chelsea, yes, so far there's been some kind of mixed results there, I guess. But what I can say is that Chilwell is a player who has a lot of potential there. And you would expect a team like Luton to concede a lot of chances, to concede a lot of goals, especially off the back of a situation where they have played one less game than everyone else. They're kind of a little bit out of it more than some other teams. Chelsea are a little bit more ready to go, that kind of thing. And Chilwell's been playing very advanced, playing essentially as a left winger for a second consecutive game, which is really, really good and interesting to see. So, like Chilwell still, don't think we should write him off just because of that 1 pointer. I still think he's definitely the pick to go for in defence. And who else but Pervis Estupiñán? What a hero he has been so far this season. This season's Kieran Trippier, I think he is kind of almost an essential player at this point. I feel like you have to have him in your team. And if you haven't got him, and I know that's not many of you, it might be time to make a move for him. He might be a priority transfer, really. This West Ham game might be difficult to get attacking returns, but I still think clean sheets are a possibility. And although these Brighton fixtures in general over the next 3, they're not ideal, we have got Bournemouth after that as well. It's a difficult situation for Brighton whereby they've already got a lot of points, so we're going to be tempted to bring in more Brighton players, but the fixtures do start to look a little bit worse from here on. But a player like Pervis Estupiñán, to me, seems like the kind of player you just have in your team and you just leave him in for the whole season. Just like Kieran Trippier last year, we don't care what the fixtures are. We know that they have really high potential, really high ceiling. We'll just leave them in there and collect the points as they come. Next up, Malo Gusto. So yeah, 4 million Chelsea player. He is going to be starting at right back / right wing back all the way up until Reece James returns. And we don't really know when that's going to be, but it's going to be at least a few weeks. So for a 4 million defender, you get these really nice fixtures that Chelsea have in the immediate term. After that, player like Gusto is probably just going to stay on your bench as that 4 million bench fodder kind of player. We'll be using up a Chelsea slot, of course, but I feel like that could be worth it in the short term. I don't think it's such a bad thing. And particularly as Chelsea seem to be persisting with kind of 3 at the back kind of formation. I know it's more complicated than that. That does kind of seem like Gusto is going to be a player who's pretty much essential to be in that lineup because there isn't really any other right wing backs at Chelsea. So, I mean, who else is going to play there? Reece James is injured. It's got to be Gusto right now if there's going to be a right wing back. You can maybe see some of the other Chelsea defenders playing at like a straight right back, a little bit more defensive. But if there's going to be a wing back, it's got to be Gusto on that side. So, really good player for the short term and a cheap player for the long term. You get to take advantage of these nice fixtures whilst they're here. But after that, you know, things might be a little bit different when James gets back. We've got Saka in midfield, another player who I would not be wanting to go without. 2/3 of FPL managers now have Saka in their team, and with this next fixture against Fulham, I would be very excited. Fulham, once again, the most disappointing defence of the game week. They are just conceding so many chances, and it's not like they've played like insanely good teams in those 2 games. So you expect a team like Arsenal, with all the quality they have, to really put Fulham to the sword. So I would want to be having those Arsenal attackers definitely in my team. And Saka against Fulham, you know, whether it's on penalties, whether it's getting in the box, whether it's creating for his teammates, I can see Arsenal scoring 4 goals past Fulham in game week 3, and Saka is going to be involved in probably 2 of them, right? So that's going to be a haul instantly. We're talking 10 points plus for Saka in this game week. That's what I'm predicting. I think it could look really, really good. Next up, Martinelli, because I feel like so strongly about wanting to go for these Arsenal attackers. I think we've got to double up here. And I know people possibly disappointed with Martinelli in game week 1 just with the assist. Game week 2, as I record this video, hasn't actually kicked off for Arsenal as they play Crystal Palace tonight. But even if Martinelli and Saka disappoint against Palace, I would not let that put you off them. I would not let that factor into your decisions. I feel like Fulham is such a good fixture. I would say that it's arguably the best fixture you can have right now. I actually genuinely believe that this Arsenal team against Fulham could be even better than the likes of Chelsea against Luton, which is not something I expected to say pre-season, but so far, if you've watched Fulham, you'll see it's not been impressive stuff for them, so you do want to be targeting them a lot at the moment. We've got Brian Mbeumo next. He's been a bit of a hero, a bit of a penalty merchant, but that's the way it works. If you pick penalty takers, it's not like you got lucky that you've got penalty goals. You pick the penalty taker. That's how it works. And Brentford, we know, are a team that get more penalties than any other team in the Premier League. And may that continue. We have got a slightly difficult fixture against Crystal Palace next. I don't think that's the easiest fixture in the world. But the likes of Bournemouth and Everton in the upcoming games are definitely very, very tempting. And although Wissa is maybe slightly better than Mbeumo from open play, Mbeumo's penalty factor is just so, so important. And we've kind of seen that. We've acknowledged that already. You are going to get decent FPL points from him. He's been kind of the star of FPL so far this year, you would probably say, wouldn't you? So it'd be very difficult to leave him out. 6.6 million right now, could find his way all the way up to 6.97 million in the next few weeks if he continues to perform. I would be making sure that I had him in my dream team, I guess. If you're trying to build towards a nice team, you can maybe, if you don't have Mbeumo yet, you can maybe wait 1 more week and then maybe go for him ahead of Bournemouth, a little bit closer to that Everton fixture as well. So I don't think he's a must-buy this week, but he's certainly definitely a player I would be wanting to keep a close eye on and potentially get into my team. We've got Phil Foden to finish off the midfield here. Sheffield United next, which should be a pretty easy fixture. We've got Fulham after that. Like I say, that is the fixture that we want to be targeting with our attackers. And when we talk about the best attacks in the league, you can't have that conversation without talking about Man City. And everyone's got Erling Haaland anyway. So how are you really going to be able to get an advantage over your rivals in these games? Well, you can captain Erling Haaland. Some people might not, but most people probably will. But the real way to do that is by going for a second Man City attacker. That's going to be the way to get the big points, to take the real advantage of these kind of fixtures. So, yes, we've got Sheffield United, we've got Fulham, we've got Nottingham Forest in a couple of weeks as well. There's a lot of really nice fixtures, and Phil Foden looked really, really good against Newcastle coming into the team. I think with the potential injury issues that Man City have right now, Foden should be playing more fixtures in general, and I think based on his performance against Newcastle, there's certainly justification to keep him in that Man City team. So, yeah, could be a really nice differential, high upside, and a real way to take advantage of these amazing Man City fixtures to come. Up front, we're going to have Erling Haaland, of course. Like, you can't make an FPL team without this guy, really. Disappointing to not get any points against Newcastle, but moving forward, Sheffield United next, Fulham after that. We're going to be captaining him for both of these games, realistically, aren't we? We need to have that captain option in our team. So let's skip over Erling Haaland. He's a must-have. We all understand that by this point, right? Nicholas Jackson is our next player. He's playing against Luton next, of course, and Jackson, 2 1-pointers, back-to-back 1-pointers so far in FPL, which is definitely disappointing if you already owned Jackson. But if you are bringing in Jackson now, then you know, you get these really nice fixtures for Chelsea. You get Nicholas Jackson, who has already shown a lot of potential. He's been unlucky not to get points. Now, I feel a little bit bad for those people who have gone for him, because he did not deserve 2 back-to-back one-pointers. He's been much better than that. Struggled against the insane goalkeeping abilities of Alisson in that first game week, and West Ham are no mugs either. So coming up in these next fixtures, I do feel like Jackson will get opportunities to score goals, create a little bit for his teammates there as well. And like I say, you never know, could be a penalty taker as well. These fixtures coming up for Chelsea are pretty much as good as it gets. These are really, really nice fixtures when kind of seen in combination. Even after the Aston Villa game, we've got some more good fixtures after that as well. So really nice run for Chelsea. Would like to go on an attacker from them. Difficult to exactly pick out which attacker to go for. I think Nicholas Jackson is probably your safest bet there. You know, pretty nailed on for minutes, playing as a central striker. Lots of good stuff to think about there. And we've got Ollie Watkins here as well as the final kind of attacker, the 7th attacker. You could go multiple ways in this one. You could either add an additional man to midfield, play with a 5th midfielder there, the Maddison if he's available. I did have him when I was originally kind of building this team, doing some research for this team. I did have Maddison in for the longest time, but I did see today that we could have some injury issue with Maddison. There could be a foot issue there. Not exactly sure, not 100% sure if he's going to be available or not. If he is available, you can maybe switch Watkins down to a 4.5 and upgrade one of your bench players to Maddison. I think that would work pretty well as well. But Watkins, I still think, is a fine pick for the time being. You know, he's still been pretty reliable, 2 assists so far. Aston Villa getting back to their best attacking ways. We've got Burnley next, which is a decent fixture. Even that Liverpool fixture, you know, we've seen how they defend. It's not particularly impressive, really, and I feel like Ollie Watkins will still give them a good go. So yeah, I think he's an okay pick. He's a decent pick, but he would be, out of the 7 attackers I've got in this starting 11, he'd be the player I'd be most willing to sacrifice. Now, I think, you know, if you are slightly different to this team and you want to try and build towards this team, maybe Ollie Watkins, if you don't have him already, it would be one of the last players I would go for here. I do prefer a Jackson. I do prefer, you know, to go for a Foden or someone like that. These players, I think, have got slightly higher ceilings there, slightly higher potential to get the big points, you know. So let's move on to the bench, guys. We've got Areola, you know, playing for West Ham. I feel like I trust a West Ham 4 million goalkeeper more than, you know, Turner at Nottingham Forest. So as long as Areola is keeping his place, and right now it looks like he could do, then yeah, why not? Let's keep him in the team. I kind of feel like he would probably be the one I'd choose to go forward with. If I had a choice, if I had unlimited transfers, if I had a wild card, I would be going for Areola over Turner at this moment. We've got Rico Henry, really good start to the season for him. I think he's going to be a really good backup, and perhaps when Gusto, you know, finally kind of finds himself rotating when Reece James comes back, Henry will probably be your guy that comes straight in and plays regularly for you there. Semenyo is probably the pick of the 4.5 million forwards, but because we're going for Watkins, maybe Marvelous Nakamba, 4.5, probably the best 4.5 midfielder to go for. You know, he's safe, like, on the long term. You could maybe make an argument for Sarr at Spurs, though, as well, but I don't think he's such a long-term option, as Spurs do still have some midfielders to come back. They're still in the market for a new midfielder as well, so not too convinced by Sarr. Nakamba would probably be the way I'd go. Of course, you could go for Chukwuemeka as well, but we've already got 3 Chelsea players, so I don't think I would waste another base level price player on using my Chelsea slots. We've got Kabore there as well as a 4 million defender. I still think he's probably the pick of the 4 million defenders right now. So there we go, guys. That is the team. I think this looks really, really good. I do want to quickly just run it through the Fantasy Football Hub My Team tool, just to make sure that we're getting a good AI rating as well. See if the AI has got any suggestions for like the perfect team, the perfect players to go for moving forward from Game Week 3 onwards, just to get some suggestions there. So yeah, I think we will have a look at that before we close off the video. So, many of you guys will know this already, but those of you who don't, this is the Fantasy Football Hub My Team tool. It has been a really useful tool for me during this preseason. I know a lot of you guys are on it already. Those of you guys who aren't, you can still get 50% off your subscription all the way until the end of August. So, click the link in the description if you want to go check this tool out and many, many more. There's so many available tools from Fantasy Football Hub that are just so crucial if you want to take your FPL to the next level. But I will leave a link for you to try it out for free, and we'll also leave a 50% discount link there as well for you guys if you do want to get the full subscription there and get full access. But it's looking pretty good, this team, right? 97%. I've loaded up the team in. That's pretty good. I would say that, you know, I always say 90% plus is good, but you know, if you can get 95% or more, that means the AI really does rate your team a lot. So we've got some good predicted points. The one player that's maybe letting the side down a little bit is Gusto, just for his long-term potential. I think the AI is currently predicting that he's going to start, you know, maybe coming out the team for that Bournemouth game. What's that, in game week 5? I think that is 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5. So maybe Reece James returns by then, and at that point, Gusto is going to be less of an option. But we have got Henry with some decent kind of fixtures there. We've got Crystal Palace and Bournemouth, 4.4 points predicted, 4.1 points predicted. Pretty decent in general. I do still feel like there is potential to maybe switch things about a little bit, maybe go for a 3-5-2 formation here as well. But having a look at I've sorted the players on the right-hand side here by 4 game week predictions. So how many predicted points they have over the next 4 game weeks. We've got Erling Haaland and Salah at the top, as you would probably expect. You could maybe try and squeeze Salah in here somewhere by making downgrades elsewhere. But what's really interesting is both Bruno Fernandes and Rashford, despite a turbulent start for Manchester United, are still predicted really high points. I'm just going to have a look at Fernandes, for example. His numbers are good. If you look at his Opta stats, you know, so far he's actually got really high predicted points, but actually hasn't fulfilled them. He's been doing really well. Decent XG, decent expected assist there as well. So maybe been a bit unlucky not to get FPL points recently. And as such, in easy games like Nottingham Forest, he's predicted 6.5. Even against Brighton, 5.9 predicted points. We've got Burnley, 5.7. Crystal Palace, 6. There are some decent predicted points coming in here for Bruno Fernandes, and a similar situation for Marcus Rashford as well. Let's see what the AI says next week. If we get another difficult result for Manchester United, maybe it will start to adjust itself. But right now, it reckons these players still have potential. So if you are owning Manchester United players, at least know that the AI kind of has a little bit of faith in these players, I guess. So yeah, definitely, guys, if you want to go check this tool out, get your team rating. It's really nice to get a second opinion from someone who knows their FPL, but often it's difficult to get in direct touch with a good FPL manager that you can maybe bounce your ideas off. So sometimes it's really nice just to have that the AI just there. It's already taken all the information in. It's objective as it can be. It's machine learning, so it's kind of learning FPL, trying to become an amazing FPL manager. So far, so good. This season's made some really good predictions. So yeah, give it a go. Try it out if you fancy it, and you can get a second opinion on your team, just like I have right now with this perfect team, I guess. Maybe we could try and sneak it up to 100% somehow, but I feel like in order to do that, we're going to need some Manchester United players, which I'm not sure how I feel about that one right now, but let me know what you guys think about that one. Manchester United players, keep, sell. Maybe that's something to talk about in the stream later this evening. Yes, so as I just mentioned, we are going to be streaming directly after the Arsenal versus Crystal Palace match. If you are watching this video after the stream has taken place, then that's okay. We'll be still uploading it and you can watch it as a replay. And we'll be talking things like Manchester United assets. Should we keep them? Should we sell them? What should we do with them? We're going to be discussing all of the Game Week 2's action as well in that stream. So do make sure you go check that out. But if you enjoyed this one, please do drop a like. It really helps out the channel so much. Do subscribe if you're new around here and you want daily FPL content on your screens, wherever you are, and make sure you check out Fantasy Football Hub as well. But aside from that, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you go check out that video, tier list video. Probably this is going to be right there, so that's pretty good, right? Aside from that, thank you so much for watching once again, and I will see you later, mates. Bye bye.